Hello, anybody here? Anybody around, I say? Oh, hello. Is this your house? I'm not trying to break in, but I've been in a wreck. Our yacht just sunk with all hands. I got ashore and found your place here by accident. I'm not trying to intrude, but I'm in sort of a jam. Don't you understand any English?
Ivan does not speak any language. He has the misfortune to be dumb.
Oh, hello. Are you the owner here?
Yes. Welcome to my poor fortress.
Fortress?
It once was, built by the Portuguese centuries ago. I have had the ruins restored to make my home here. I am Count Zaroff.
My name's Robert Rainsford. Glad to meet you. Very glad.
Yeah, Ivan is a Cossack. I'm afraid, like all my fellow countrymen, he is a bit of a savage. Smile, Ivan. Ulitnis!
I was trying to make him understand there'd been a shipwreck in the channel.
Chort Vosny! But how appalling! And you mean to say that you were the only survivor?
Yes. I'm afraid I am.
You're certain?
Well, I'd never left the spot if I hadn't been. The swellest crowd on earth. My best friends. It's incredible.
Such things are always incredible. Death is for others, not for ourselves. That is how most of my other guests have felt.
Your other guests? You mean this has happened before?
My dear fellow, we have several survivors from the last wreck still in the house. It would seem that this island were cursed.
That's just what the captain said. Only he thought it was uninhabited.
We Cossacks find our inspiration in solitude.
Well, it's a break for me anyway.
My house is yours, sir. Oh, by the way, you'll want to change those wet rags immediately.
Yes. They look about the way I feel.
Yes. I have some loose hunting clothes which I keep for my guests that you can possibly get into. Od vidi Ivo v krajnju komnatu. Ivan will show you to your room.
Thank you.
You'll find a stiff drink there also.
Thanks a lot.
Proszę. All pleasure is mine.
Come in.
Ready, Rainsford?
All set.
I'm afraid we have finished dinner, but I have ordered something for you.
Thanks. I don't feel like eating.
Oh, dear. Well, perhaps later. Now then, what do you say to coffee and most charming company? It is hard to forget your comrade's fate, I know, but our feminine guest is easily perturbed. If I could beg you to put a good face upon the matter, assume a cheerfulness you may not feel.
Why, sure, of course.
Thank you. Miss Trowbridge, may I present Mr. Robert Rainsford, Miss Eve Trowbridge.
How'd you do?
How do you do?
And her brother, Mr. Martin Trowbridge.
How are you, old chap? Pretty well shaken up, I guess, huh?
Coming out of it now, thanks.
We know just how it feels. Don't we, Eve?
Indeed, we do. Perhaps Mr. Rainsford would like some hot coffee.
Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Rainsford, please sit here.
Oh, thank you.
Daj gostu coffee vodka.
Vodka, that's the stuff. One shot'll dry you out quicker than all the coffee in Java. Have to toss it off, though, like this.
Now, Martin, you don't have to drink it all tonight, do you?
Don't be ridiculous, sis. We are victims of circumstance, same as Mr. Rainsford. And if anyone has a right to his liquor, it's a victim of circumstance. Isn't that so, Count?
Of course, yes.
You were in the shipwreck, too, I understand.
Yes. Our lifeboat was the only one saved. My brother and I and 2 sailors. The Count found us on the beach with nothing but the clothes on our backs.
Those channel lights must have been shifted. I wonder it hasn't been reported.
Well, we'll report him, just as soon as we get back to the mainland.
You see, the Count has only one launch, and that's under repair.
Russians are not the best mechanics. I'm afraid we'll have to be patient a few days longer.
That's all right with me. I feel as if I were living on borrowed time right now.
Speaking of that, perhaps now you'll tell us a little bit about who you are. Just sketchily, you know. Born, married, why I left my last job.
No. One moment, please. Mr. Rainsford need never explain who he is in my house.
No?
No, we entertain a celebrity, Miss Trowbridge.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me. Let me guess. I know. Flagpole sitter.
Oh, flagpole sitter.
I know. He wrote some books.
No, he lived some books. If I am not mistaken, this is Mr. Robert Rainsford, who hunts big game so adventurously.
Yeah? Yes, to you.
I've lugged the gun around a little.
I've lugged the gun around a little. No, I have read your books. I read all books on hunting. Papirosu?
Thank you.
Only in yours have I found a sane point of view.
What do you mean, sane?
Cigarette?
Yeah, thanks.
You do not excuse what needs no excuse. Now, let me see, how did you put it? Hunting is as much a game as stud poker, only the limits are higher. You have put our case perfectly, Mr. Rainsford.
Well, then you're a hunter yourself.
We are kindred spirits. It is my one passion.
He sleeps all day and hunts all night. And what's more, Rainsford, he'll have you doing the same thing.
We'll have capital sport together, I hope.
Don't encourage him. You know, he's had our 2 sailors so busy chasing around the woods after flora and fauna that we haven't seen him for 3 days.
But what do you hunt here?
I'll tell you. You will be amused, I know. I have done a rare thing. I have invented a new sensation.
Yeah, and is he stingy with it?
What is this sensation, Count?
Mr. Rainsford, God made some men poets. Some he made kings, some beggars. Me he made a hunter. My hand was made for the trigger, my father told me. He was a very rich man with 250,000 acres in the Crimea and an ardent sportsman. When I was only stirrup high, he gave me my first gun.
Good for him.
My life has been one glorious hunt. It would be impossible for me to tell you how many animals I have killed. But when the revolution flamed up...
Look out.
Victory stop!
Oh, I'm so sorry. Count Zareff was so interesting, I didn't realize the danger.
Oh, it's all right now. What were you saying about the revolution, Count?
Oh, merely that I escaped with most of my fortune. Naturally, I continued to hunt all over the world. It was in Africa that the Cape Buffalo gave me this.
That must have been a close call.
Yes, it still bothers me sometimes. However, in 2 months, I was on my way to the Amazon. I'd heard that the jaguars there were unusually cunning. No. No sport at all.
Well, conditions are bad everywhere these days.